so used to graves that they don't even bother him anymore.
'Tis so. The hands of little employment have the daintier sense.
But age with his feeling stout hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and it could sing once. How the knave jolts it to the ground, as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, which this but now reaches, one that would circumvent God. Might it not?
Indeed, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morning, sweet lord, how dost thou, sweet lord? This might be my lord. Such a one thing praised my lord, such a one forced when he meant to beg it. Might it not?
Yes, my lord.
Why, even so. And now my lady worms, chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we have the trick to see it. Do these bones cost no more to breeding but to play at loggets with them? Mine aches to think of it.
A picksack and a spade, for enshrouding sheep, oh, a pit of clay for it to be made, for such a guest as me.
There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his qualities, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action with batteries? This fellow might be in his time a great buyer of land. His statuettes, his recognizes, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases and double indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will hardly line the box. And must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha!
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Ah, my lord, and of calfskin too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in the idle speech of this fellow. Whose grave is this, sir?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made.
I think it be thine indeed. So who lies in it?
You lie on it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, that it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it to be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou lies.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. He'll always fall away again from me to you.
What man do you dig this for?
No man, sir.
Well, what woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she is dead.
How absolute this knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years I have taken a note of it. The age is grown so thick that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he calls his tide. How long have you been a grave maker?
Of all the days I have been here, I came to...
Can't you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was that very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England.
Hey, Mary, how was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. A shall recover his wits there, or, if it do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
While not be seen in him there, there the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, e'en when losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark I have been sexton here. Men a boy 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth?
Maybe 9 if he's tan.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that it will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your wholesome dead body. Here's a skull now that hath lived in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whoresome mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. A poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Sir Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
And that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick! I knew him, Horatio! A fellow of infinite jest, of more excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how abhorred in my imagination it is, my gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your jabs now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that we won't seed the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite a chap fallen. Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her. Let her pain an inch think, to this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, to tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Do you think Alexandra looked at this fashion in the earth?
No.
And smelt so? Ugh!
Even so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he finds it stopping in a bunghole?
If we're to consider not too curiously, to consider so.
no faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it as thus. Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returned to dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam, whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead, returned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. O dirty earth, which kept the world in awe, hath a wall to expel the winter's flaw, but soft a while.
This scene is important to the play because it features the only symbol, Yorick's skull. It symbolizes Hamlet coming to face with the inevitability of death. Hamlet literally looks death in the eye.
It also brings about the realization that everyone in society, no matter their rank, ends up at the same ultimate level. Hamlet remembers a happier time through seeing Yorick's skull, which juxtaposes his current life. He remembers that he's trapped in a cycle of despair as a result of his need for revenge. The skull also foreshadows Hamlet's upcoming death. Hamlet juggles with the idea of immortality. He sees himself as extremely important, but gets a reality check when he truly understands the equality of men.
Hamlet's outlook on death matures, and he no longer fears it. Because he sees it as a natural inevitability, Hamlet understands that the only certain thing in life is death.